Hey YouTube, this is Gohan from Dragon Ball Z. You're watching AmatureKiLLerHD, the ultimate Super Saiyan.
What is up, guys? It is me, AmatureKiLLer, bringing you a video on Dragon Ball Idol. It is time for that part 2 of the tier list, including the newest additions to the game, Bulma, Xeno Goku, and Xeno Vegeta. Now, in this tier list, we're going to talk about all the units. It's going to be a very long one, so make sure to grab that popcorn, some soda, some water, some pop, some something, some candy, whatever you need. And we need to get into this so you guys can know exactly which units you should be saving for or even grabbing from Hero Rescue or in events that you want to go for that box to get that unit that you cannot get from Hero Rescue. I'm going to be jumping into the tier list now. Also, guys, in the comment section down below, let me know if you agree with this or if you would change something else on this tier list. But let's get right into it. So I'm going to have to move the camera from down here to the up there or up there. This is so much better. You see, having two monitors, I did get the Arzopa. I'm looking at the second monitor right here. I'm looking at it right here, and I'm looking at you guys. But the second monitor, I got the Arzopa from TikTok. Maybe I'm going to post it in the description if you guys want to grab it. Literally, it was on sale for 50 bucks. Right now, it's on sale for 35 bucks. Probably the best purchase I could do. I was looking at screens, but listen. All right, let's get right into the tier list. We have a decent amount of units. Some units were nerfed, some units were buffed, but we're gonna go through each one and we're gonna see exactly where they're gonna go. Now, starting off with UI Goku, which one should we put him in? Now, UI Goku is great with lethal. He gives off hero reduction, lethal, especially for the units like Fat Boo, Evil Boo, and Zamasu, because Zamasu has unyielding, so that removes that. And at the moment, with the current meta, you're going to be seeing more Fat Boos being in the mix. So honestly, when it comes to UI Goku, I was going to put him in B tier, but since he could be very useful, I'm going to put him in the A tier. Now, remember, guys, when it comes to this, the closest you are to the tier, that means that they're like A+, or like on the verge of being S tier. If you see them, for example, like right here, like towards the end, that means that they're the weakest link of that tier. So just put that into perspective. Usually when it comes to healers, we're always going to try to put them higher up on the tier list. I have some healers do definitely make a massive effect in the battle just because of how they are utilized. So Margarita, we're going to put her on S tier. We know her as the revive healer, giving off that attack aura. Now whoever has revive, once that unit revives, then it's going to be giving off heals to 2 units that have the lowest HP. Now, she did get nerfed a long time ago, but she is still viable to be used and all that good stuff. Now, Belmont. I always liked Belmont. His Joker mark gives off random debuffs if they are. I think there's a percentage if they go off or not. But personally, I would actually put Belmont in A tier. He is usable. He's also not a bad unit, so meaning he's not evil. So if you have someone with lethal, such as UI Goku, he's not going to go down. So that's actually a very good plus. Now, he does get affected by, what is it called? Unnerve? No. The ability that Vegeta has. So Brave. Unit that has Brave at the moment, I believe it's Vegeta, and I believe Super Broly also have Brave. Now, Brave is a type of ability that lets units not be revived or go into unyield effect. So I believe that Xeno, Vegeta, and Broly have this ability, but with Broly, it works differently. Vegeta, it's more easy to be seen, but with Broly, I feel like it doesn't happen right away. So that's something to look into. Kefla. we got to put Kefla at God tier. Kefla is in all AoE teams. AoE is area of effect, meaning it's going to target all the units on the field. The beautiful part about this is that she destroys auras. So if you have a team that has Master Roshi, Vegeta, and all these units that give off aura to increase those stats, Kefla is going to destroy them. You know, link her up with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, with regular Xeno Vegeta, and you have an unstoppable AoE duel. Dispo, he got nerfed to absolute bananas. I don't even know if that's even a term. He got nerfed so bad that he was usable with Jiren, and now he's just not. If you were going to choose a unit to run with another attack unit, I would not recommend Dispo. There are other units on this list that are now in Hero Rescue that you could get for free. You just got to make sure you save those gems. Topo, you don't see him as much. I still like him just because of that first turn focus fire that can actually do a good amount of you know, a little bit of like control on your side, especially on defense. The issue is that once you go up against a Gogeta team that will use Contempt, that's when things start to go bad. That's his only downside, but also he does have very low HP. I did a test on all the defense units on who could tank the most with all the same spirits, all the same marks, all the same weapons. And actually Topo and Hakai Topo have the lowest amount of actual HP, which is actually kind of interesting to see that. But also because of their other abilities like block and this and that and dodge. So that also makes, you know, plays a part in it. Helles, you don't see her get played often. She is actually a very good unit, increasing that, I believe it's crit damage and hit. If there was more units out there that were more, you know, in sync with her, you know, she also gives female characters an extra turn. So actually having her mixed up with Kefla or even another unit, maybe bring out the strongest possible female unit, which, you know, the only one that I can think of is Kale. That's the only person I can think of, but just giving off an extra attack sometimes is beneficial and sometimes is not, but you rarely get to see her. Now, this tier list is also going off of my experience with these units. You know, opinions may vary, so if you think that something is off or something is different, just know that these are my opinions, and that's what I'm saying in the comment section down below. Let me know exactly what you think. Sawa. Okay, this guy got, even though he did, I don't know if he did get nerfed or not. Let me know. I could be wrong. He is now more viable in the teams, so I'm actually going to put him in first. I actually like Sawa more than Margarita because at the moment I'm not really running a revive team. So because I'm not running a revive team, Sawa is the best possible candidate that I have, giving off that nice aura, giving off that little 10% dodge to the first unit. You know, that also helps. You know, you get that RNG luck. Jiren, S tier. You gotta be S tier. So I'm actually gonna put Jiren in front because, like I said, healers are automatically going to go to S tier, but it depends on where they are far from the tier list. Jiren, absolute animal. Match him up with Gogeta Contempt, Go Tanks, and depending on the speed aspect of it, you get Go Tanks to go to the back guy, gets focus fire. You get Gogeta to go faster than Jiren to then basically contempt the third person. And then you get Jiren to go right ahead and attack the damage dealer. Now, if your opponent knows the speed aspect of it, they're going to end up putting the healer in third and then a defense unit in first and fourth. So that's all about speed, but you can always, you know, juggle it around, especially if you want to like mix the team up and everything. Very good. Baby, you saw him being used when he first came out, and as you see progression, you don't see him as much. Now, he is mainly a dodge unit. You guys know that I hate dodge units because you need to build them a certain way. If you don't build them with enough dodge, they die. So you need to basically, there has to be like a happy medium, maybe with 50 to 60% dodge, and then the rest goes right into like defense, block, tenacity, crit res, like all that stuff. But you need to just, there has to be like a well balance. But I haven't really seen anyone, you know, properly do it. They mostly do either dodge or block. You know, that happy medium, there's always going to be that lower dodge, higher this, higher that. So in the end, it doesn't really truly work out. Plus, with all the ultimates that are out there that increases hit, it just goes to a waste. So baby, he is actually pretty tanky when you do get that dodge, because every third dodge you get a shield. And while he is in shield, when he dodges, even if the shield breaks on the third dodge, it regenerates. So that gets a little cheapy if you have the right setup for him. I think like maybe 1 or 2 people are running him towards the end game. B tier. I don't know if I want to put him on B tier, but like in first, like that goes towards A tier, like in the in between, or keep him maybe at A tier, like a low A tier. I'm just gonna keep him here for now. If anything, we're gonna, you know, swap him up. MUI Goku just got reworked back to where he used to be. Before, he was a massive animal when it came to dodging, Ultra Instinct, or even just doing a lot of damage like a tank. I shouldn't say tank because tank means defense, but doing damage like a cannon, bazooka. All right, now with his rework, they added something that is interesting that I don't really like, but we're gonna get into detail in a video for him. So I'm actually gonna put him at A tier. I think personally he does better than UI Goku, and maybe slightly better than Belmont in the tier list. So we're gonna put him here. We're gonna review him. Okay, Super 17, also a back row unit. He's not as strong as Jiren, but we're gonna put him at A tier. He basically does more damage when it comes to attack. Okay, normal attack actually has more damage than his skill. So that's why you have to partner him up with I think it's the 3-star dragon. I call him the blue dragon or the ice dragon. The reason why you partner him up with him is because it takes longer to regenerate his energy to get that skill off. So basically he's going to be doing 4 normal attacks compared to the 2 normal attacks. So he does more damage when people are in control effect and in back row. So if you don't have Jiren, which you can get now in the Hero Rescue, videos coming out soon on that. So I would, if you already don't have Jiren, then I would go for him. But if you have Jiren, then I would just keep this guy here. Ice Dragon, known as the CC Prince. I call him the CC Prince, but also the Stun Man. This guy starts off with 100% stun, and then goes off and, or not 100%. There's like a probability thing. So he gets the first attack or the first whatever has a higher chance of stunning, and as the rounds go and go and go, that percentage becomes less. But there is a chance that when he does his active skill, it's an AoE active skill, he can potentially stun the whole freaking enemy team, so they skip 1 full turn, which can actually be a deciding factor in many games, especially, you know, with the meta right now being AoE and people just spamming, you know, I mean, not people, but Xeno Vegeta spamming his active skill, you know, especially with protection on. Whoa, I see what the game did there. So definitely a very good unit. Also gives, I don't remember, I haven't used him in a while, but I don't know if he gives a certain buff. I know he gives a buff to the back row if they're Android, which also reduces their energy like I was talking about. But, you know, I personally think A tier suits him well. Super Broly. Listen, this guy got a slight, I don't know if it's considered a rework or just like one of his abilities was changed to have that brave effect. Like I said, his works differently than Vegeta, but I would actually put Super Broly in S tier just because of that ability to go every other round and use his active skill. That does amazing, especially for the first turn to do your active, is very impressive. Also, he does hit like a truck, so that's something to also consider. I still preferably like him a lot. I still use him till this day. Myers, God tier. God tier. I personally think Myers, even though Kefla does do a lot of damage and also destroys, I think Myers is even higher than that because of his ability to do CC plus the attack aura, and also just the fact that he can just give off any type of crowd control effect for 2 rounds. So like you could get chocolate for 2 rounds, you could get stunned for 2 rounds, silence for 2 rounds, they're taunted for 2, or not taunted, I don't think taunted is a thing, but terrored for 2 rounds. You could get so many debuffs from Myers, and sometimes with the RNG, if it hits properly, he can go ahead and attack the attacker, and then that attacker would be without any abilities for 2 turns. So that actually helps out a lot. So Myers is a plus, plus he gets convergence with MUI, UI, Xeno, Trunks, and now at the moment Goku, which Xeno Goku, I haven't really, don't know why, but yes. Omega. I actually really like Omega. In my opinion, he is a little better than Belmont. Very good unit, very good tank, massive shield, and can actually regenerate health little by little, especially if you have a very well-rounded healer. You can even match him up with Margarita and let's say either Evil Boo, Fat Boo, or Belmont, and if or Quintella, and if they die and they get revived, then boom, Omega gets a nice little jump in HP. The only thing is that the downside on Ace is that if you put him in round 1, then the second round, if he lives, he's not going to get that shield capability because he uses his HP as shield in a sense. So basically low HP, no shield. So the best thing would be to put him in round 3 or team 3, so then you can at least have that ability to have more shield. Fire Dragon. Okay, the Fire Dragon or the Golden Dragon, or I think he's the 4-star dragon. He is actually a very, very good unit when it comes to attack, like single target attack. I don't know if I would put him like a low S tier or a high A tier, like an A+. I think I would put him in A+. You don't really see him being utilized that much. He does do a lot of damage that people are under debuff effect. So yeah, I personally think, and I think if he has a combo, 100% combo, I don't know. Even though this guy is also a trucker, he likes to attack very well. We have a lot of units in this, like I would put him in S tier as well. You know what, we're gonna put him on a low S tier. I think this guy is worth it. He's not in Hero Rescue yet, but if he was, I would definitely pick him up. Collapsed. You don't even see this guy ever. The only time I use him is in Hero Incoming when it comes to the new units. He is, depending on, you know, if he was a slightly reworked and his skill was appropriate, maybe that like chance to do more of a stun, it would be good. And also when people die on your side of the field, he gains dodge. So he's a skill unit that has dodge when your team dies 1 by 1 and has the ability to stun. So something to look at, definitely. The thing is, when he attacks, it's random. So, but I haven't tested this out. If the unit that he attacks already has attack reduction from a different unit. I don't know if that unit gets stunned. All I know is that if he automatically let's say he targets randomly the 5th spot, right? The attacker. The second round, if he attacks the attacker again, randomly, that attacker is going to get stunned for that turn. Or for 1 round, actually. So, he is interesting. It's just that his skills are a little wonky. Xeno, we're going to put him up top, S tier. Xeno is an amazing unit. He gets focus fire in the beginning of the round. He gets heal reduction. Very well matched up with Myers. I still run this guy. A lot of people run this guy. Absolutely intense. If he gets to hero rescue, you must get him. Absolute animal. Okay, Hakai Topo. There's a controversy with him right now. I'm going to put him at A tier. He's actually a very good unit if you partner him up with Quintella, because once Quintella dies, this guy gains focus fire. Also, the back row, he gives off some bonuses, but the thing is that some people told me that his block effect becomes broken. Not broken in the sense of like, oh wow, he's broken, he's OP. It's to the sense that it doesn't work. That's why it's broken. So like, for example, the effect will go from like 55% to then slightly higher, and then it's supposed to go higher and higher and higher. But what happens is it goes to 50% or 55%, then it goes to the next tier, and then it goes back down to like 50% or 55%. So the more stacks should be more block effect, but instead, more stacks, it goes back to normal and doesn't go up. So hopefully the devs, I did reach out to the devs. Many people reach out to the devs. Hopefully this, is adjusted, but we'll see. All right, Evo Vegeta. This guy was S tier. He got a slight nerf, but I think it's still S tier. I'm going to put him... Paco! I'm actually going to put him above Broly, just because when he dies, all right, if he doesn't die to bleed or I was gonna say eruption, or the other thing, I can't remember the name. I always forget the name. He doesn't give off that stack. So I don't even think he gives it off if he gets killed by an ultimate. I don't know, I haven't tested this out. But the best way was in the old meta, what I figured out was if you put Evo in first or second and he dies and then gives off his stacks to Kefla, Kefla became an unstoppable AoE monster. I haven't tested it out with Xeno. That's actually something to look into. I just thought about it right now. I don't know if... I think stacks are considered a buff, so I don't believe it would work with Xeno Vegeta. But I'll test this out. I probably think someone did already test it out, but absolute animal. He does hit like a truck. Like there's times where I went up against a overly powered Omega or an overly powered Evil Boo or whatever. Absolutely one-shotted them. The higher stacks he had. So it was actually very impressive, very good. Still very good unit to use. Berserk Jiren. I'm going to put him up here. The only reason I'm going to put him on the A tier, I only used him like a couple times. He does have the ability, every time he gets like a buff towards him, he gets like a higher stack. The more stack, the more damage. I have to use him more to really know exactly where to probably place him, but I'm going to put him on A tier because he actually does do very good damage. Now, these are just newer units, so they're not going to be in hero rescue yet, so more testing would have to be done, and also no one really uses Jiren. Quintella was, in my opinion, depending on how you had him, I was going to put him at like a low god tier, but because of his recent nerf to HP, I'm gonna put him as S tier. I'm gonna put him at S tier. Lower than Sawa and Margarita. I'm gonna put it at S tier just because there is a slight, I don't know if it's a bug or what it is. When you have Quitella and Bulma on your team, or the enemy has Bulma, Quitella could actually get healed. That's the cool thing about it. So I don't know if it's a bug, I don't know if it's like a little exploit, but that's something very cool. Also gives up, he could be revived multiple times, could go well with Margarita, and gives off a crit aura. Now Conic. This guy, in my opinion, when he was untouched, he was probably S tier, but the highest out of the other healers, because he was giving off a good amount of crit damage, attack. I had him with combined with AoEs. So this guy was doing great. I had Hakai, Topo, Conic, just giving off a massive amounts of power to the back row. But I mean, actually throughout the whole team. The problem is that when he got nerfed, he did slightly get a massive reduction in that. So I'm actually going to put him probably in between Sawa and Margarita. I think this fits well. Now, for me, Gogeta was at a high tier list when he first came out. Then as people started to slowly see that, you know, there are works around him, like Beerus, now MUI Goku, or Xeno, or Super Broly. You know, before it was broken in a sense of like his solo skill didn't work. So like people were doing his ultimates on him, such as Broly, you know, and he would die instantly. But now as that solo became actually fixed, now I believe Broly doesn't have the ability to do it. I don't recall, but it might not. I don't know. The thing is, he doesn't have that many counters. So, you know what? I'm actually going to put him at a lower god tier. The reason why I would do that is because he doesn't have that many counters. Not many people are running Beerus. I mean, some are, but not many are, just because of that AoE team meta that's going on right now. So, personally, I would actually put Gogeta in a lower god tier. Cellmax, in my opinion, just got buffed just because of Bulma. Removing that focus fire effect can sometimes be a good or bad thing, but he's an absolute animal, so I'm actually going to put him at a god tier, lower god tier as well. Just overall beast. Everyone is basically running them. The cool part about him is that when he attacks, he gains focus fire. Hearts, and you see, between Hearts and Berserk, Hearts does, in my opinion, way less damage until like a few rounds in. I'm gonna put him at an A tier. You know what? Let's put MUI here. Yeah, I think this looks more well balanced. Hearts, I mean, I ran him a couple times, but I was not impressed with him. He did one-shot many, you know, healers, attackers. That's normal. But when it came to going up against tanks that are properly built, he wasn't putting a little dent in them. So I don't know. Piccolo, I wish he was more like usable. I personally think this guy could be an absolute animal. I just think that he has to be partnered well with other people. He does do a good amount of damage. I just wish that there was more of a chance to actually see him flourish and go up against like the meta that's going on right now. But right now I don't see that happening until new units start to come out to the game. But I would still put him in A tier. I don't see him being in B tier. If anything, because Topo is broken, I'll put him at like that's fair. I'll put him at like a B tier, like the highest one. I feel like that's the fairest thing to do. Fu. This guy is an A tier. I'm going to put him right here. The reason why he is in, S tier. The reason why Fu is S tier is just because of him having that revive, damage reduction, causing of, what's that thing? Eruption? Is it called eruption? I literally am having a brain fart. I can't remember what the name is. I always forget it. Either way, this guy is good. Okay, S tier I think fits him well. He could be partnered up with Margarita for that revive effect. He tanks pretty well. He can actually be an attacker. You know, you can put him anywhere you want to put him, and having him as an attacker with a damage defense aura, that to me, that's a win. High of Time. She's a healer. That gives protection, but would I put her in S tier? I mean, I know I said all the healers go in S tier. She does give off a lot of heals. So you know what? Sorry, Kai of Time. And actually, I mean, yeah, I think that's fair. S tier, but the lowest S tier. I just wish she gave off more of something rather than just healing. Even though healing is very important, I just wish she gave off something. Master Roshi, the first unit to confuse people. The first unit to confuse you, I actually gonna put him at a high A tier. The cool thing about this guy is that he doesn't receive any buffs, but he increases the aura to 22% or 24% compared to the 15 or 18%, whatever it is, whatever it gives. So he actually buffs. If you actually partner him up with Xeno Vegeta and have different auras on the field, your Xeno's going to be absolutely dominating. But if you have a Kefla, then all those auras go to waste. So that's the thing. Kefla counters everyone. But Master Roshi does do very good in damage, and also with that nice little effect, it can actually make, the battles differently. Xeno, Vegeta, God tier. This guy, if you have him on the opposite team and he has protection, just know that it's game over. This guy is going to go absolutely insane. He's going to be doing active skills left and right. He's in the current meta right now with Kefla. Sometimes you even see him with Myers too. Absolutely beast. Bulma, I got to put her up there. Bulma is also in God tier. We have a lot of God tier this time. I'm going to put her right there. Bulma helps out Xeno go crazy. Bulma also removes the ability of people getting focus fired. The only thing that she doesn't block is Contempt, which is actually, that would have been too broken if Gogeta did not have Contempt. But Bulma, absolute animal, and also gives off auras depending on who is on the field. So if you have Fu that gives off damage reduction aura, then she's going to be giving, I believe, crit damage and another type of aura. So, beast. Here we have the newest unit. Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Alright, I'm going to put him here for now. But I'm going to talk about him, but he doesn't go in a C tier. First of all, my favorite unit, Super Saiyan 4 Goku. A beast. In the anime. In the game, where do I put him? A lot of people don't like him. A lot of people aren't running him. A lot of people are testing him to see exactly how he works. I figured out a slight way to make him work, and I utilized him against someone that is running the meta with higher power than me, utilized him with people that are top of the top, and I made it work. So personally, listen, I know it's going to be very controversial. There are ways and teams that make him work. So I can actually see this guy, instead of being a main meta team or like your main arena team, I can see him being a very good opponent in Ace. So a very good partner in Ace. So I'm actually going to put him at S tier. It's going to be a lower S tier, so he's going to be like in that range between S and A, so like right in between, like an S minus or an A plus. He is actually a good unit when you can partner him up with Cell Max, and also very good overall team. That'll be in the next video that's coming out soon, because I'm going to be testing him out more and then making a video on that. But here we go, guys. Here is the tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, comment on if you agree or disagree, and as always, subscribe. Thank you guys for everything. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.